All right, happy Wednesday. Good morning. I think this is going to be a shorter one, hopefully, and I appreciate the time you've invested in the stuff I'm sharing, and hopefully it's giving you a better idea of kind of who I am and how I look at things from a broad spectrum. But I really want to get more granular in most of these challenges that we have. So this is session 4. It has to do with our social safety net. Now, when I was growing up and getting ready to get in the world, my folks were always involved in our community and church and all the programs, and so I had great examples of what that looked like to be a real community citizen. And the main thing my father would say is, he wanted us to be part of something bigger than ourselves. And so that was when we got older. His attitude was, go do something, make a deposit into the world before you ask for any withdrawals. And so he encouraged us to join, the service or the Peace Corps or volunteer or work at a hospital as a candy striper for my sisters or as whatever for us boys. So it was always ingrained. So I'm kind of programmed or wired the way I am based on just a good family. Okay, so I was in the Air. This is just some of the stuff I've done. I was in the Air Force for 14 years, 4 active duty, 10 civil service. I was. This is really cool. I was in the Big Brother program, and when I was in the Air Force, I didn't really feel like going out and getting all partied all the time. So I wanted to do something again bigger than myself, and so I volunteered to the Big Brothers, Big Sisters program, and went after a whole battery of multiples. Interviews and such. I ended up being the first guy in Colorado to have a little sister. Her name's Melissa, and she's doing really well, and it was an awesome experience for the years that I was able to do that. I'm a constant and consistent volunteer everywhere I've lived, and so I lived in Fraser. That's where we raised our kids, so I was with the Chamber of Commerce on their board. I was with the Fraser Housing Authority. I was on town council there. I was the mayor there. I was on the Grand County Tourism Board during 9/11 and the years after that. Since I've been here, I've been involved in lots of community projects, but also I'm the Trinidad Kiwanis president right now. It's been tough during COVID like everything else. I'm the campaign manager. I was the campaign manager for the best grant for the school district round 2, which was successful, and I think we're going to see the fruits of that in helping our kids compete with the kids up north and the kids around the world. So I'm a current board member of the Friends of Trinidad State College Foundation. I set up the TSC Trails Committee that coordinate with the new TSC Trails and Maintenance Program, and I was the chairman of that for a time, and just have been relieved of that duty by somebody certainly more competent than I there. And I've been involved in many other things. So I just wanted to give you an idea that I'm not new to this. And so one of the things I want to do as mayor is I want to work more directly with all the social service leaders, and I want to do this from not the pat perspective, which I will do no matter win or lose. I promise you, November 3rd, I'll be happy, and I'll be ready to get to work in whatever aspect or role that ends up being. So I'm not going anywhere, but I want to be active as the mayor. I want to make sure that as the mayor of Trinidad, I'm involved in that monthly continuum of care meeting that goes on. Pretty much all, now obviously they get busy so they can't make all the meetings, but I want to make sure that I'm plugged in to the social support agencies that we have that are trying to do work and find places where it just makes sense for the city to take a more active role, whatever it is, maybe just supportive, maybe financial, maybe organizational, maybe connections, those kinds of things. I want to be on a first name basis with all of, and I am to a certain degree, but I still don't know what I don't know. But I want to be on a first name basis with all the social service support leaders we have, and this includes, church leaders and all the denominations that serve our community. I think we need to invest in and fortify the fiscal strength and the capacity of the social net outside the government. I think we need to try and make sure that our social net that's by agencies, organizations, support groups, churches are as strong as they can be so they can do most of the boots on the ground work that needs to be done. And all of this stuff has always been called community. And so it's nothing really new. Some direct things that I want to try and do is panhandling is a constitutional right. It goes in the same way that a politician can put her hand out and ask for money. A person in need can put their hand out and ask for money. What I'd like to propose and work through, or at least have a conversation about, is having a permit and a license. And there's some reasons behind this, and some of them are just psychological there. But it would be free. It would be available through our social service agencies. So think The Way with Brother Clay. Think the Soup Kitchen. Think Health Solutions. Think some of our churches. Think those folks. That's where it is. So that's where it would be. It would be identifiable. I'd like to make this thing identifiable. So you have a permit, you have the license, and you can actually identify yourself and be identified. And again, there's a reason for that. Ask me more details. I don't want to take too long in any of these things. I want to just give you the broad stroke. But I think some of this stuff has an opportunity to educate the panhandler of the services provided by our social safety net, by the city, and by these agencies. We have an opportunity to engage somebody when they come into town. Now, those folks, let me move on. I want to educate. This also has an opportunity to educate the public that, frankly, it's more effective to give money to the agencies that help the homeless or the unhoused than the panhandlers themselves. Now, you do whatever you want with your money. It's a free country and it's a free city, and that goes across all areas. But I think if you knew a little bit more about what our agencies are doing, you may find that there's a regular way you could support them that supports others. What I do want to try and do with this permit and license is I want to try and reduce the number of kind of the passing through panhandler, the person that actually this may be kind of a lifestyle a thing. And so, you know, they've got their car, they're at Walmart, they're ready to panhandle for a day or two, get some money, and get back in the car and head north. Now, I don't begrudge them the ability to do that in a free society. I just think in Trinidad, I think we've become known as a great place to do this, and so we've attracted a lot of that. And I think the panhandling permit and license idea would actually help us, really help those that are truly here, that are trying to live here. And again, educating them, educating the community, putting them in contact with social services is really what I want to try and accomplish through that. And again, this is a discussion. And what I think it helps the city do, and even our social service organizations, is better understand the problem and work towards more effective long-term solutions of what that is and what we can address with it. I want to find and secure an emergency warming center. And this is something I started asking about a couple of years back. We had some meetings, conversations, I called them, at the library that had to do with homelessness, and I've learned a lot since then. And I want to give a shout out to the Maslow's Collaborative. It's a Facebook group. It was started at these library sessions about 2 years ago, and there are some phenomenally active and ready to get to work people in that. And this was one of the top objectives that came through what we wanted to do. And I want to give some good news on that. It was a meeting last week with the leaders of the Zion Lutheran Church and Brother Clay with the Way Mission. And it looks like we're going to be able to have an emergency warming center. This is for emergencies, when the situation gets so tough that we have people out there living in very dire weather, losing limbs, losing life, and I just believe that an emergency warming center is in all frankness the least we can do. But Zion Lutheran Church and the good people over there are trying to figure out how they can do it. And certainly there's challenges. There's security challenges. There's insurance challenges. There's liability challenges. But Brother Clay with the Way is really trying to work with them to see how they can do this. Now, this would be a test of these organizations putting this together. They can't be expected to do this forever, but I think it would be a test to see how we can do this. And hopefully 2022, this coming winter, when it gets really cold, it can prove successful. And then I'd like to see if the city has a city-sponsored facility that can be used as an emergency warming shelter. I'm not referring to a shelter, okay, where folks are there. I believe long-term, the best way to get people unhoused and find out who needs some help is to get them housed, okay, but that's for another time. I do believe, for lots of reasons, we need to move the unhoused off the river. Now, there are reasons with regards to safety for them. There are also reasons with regards to safety for the folks who want to walk the river. For me, a great vision of the river is a mom with a stroller with a little one in it, and maybe one walking beside, walking down the full length of the river at any lighted time that they can be out there. That, to me, is a successful river walk. Okay, and I don't think we have that right now, although we have an incredible river and lots of efforts in that to make it even more so. So what I'd really like to try and work towards, after we get the emergency warming shelter, and not shelter, but facility in place, what I like to do is a safe camping area. I believe that a civil society has rules, so I believe we can create a more safe and controllable space than the river's length in a specific area. Now, certainly, there'd be basic needs there, but as well as think human triage. Okay, some people that are unhoused, they're unhoused because their car broke, they don't have a job, and you know what, they've got to figure something out. Some people are unhoused because they don't have a down payment, maybe they don't have identification, maybe some of those kinds of things. Maybe they just have bad credit and they don't qualify, or they make, in many cases, this is crazy, but in many cases some people are making too much money to be able to qualify for some of the current safety net opportunities. But what I'd like to try and do is try and figure out, with this human's triage kind of attitude, is who needs what help, in what area are you in. And certainly many are unfortunate to have drug and mental health challenges, but I think we have social services in the area, certainly Health Solutions and Brother Clay, and there are facilities up north that are better equipped for this. But I think if we had a place where we could have that happen. Now, again, rules and consequences. In the civil society, we have rules and consequences, and there needs to be there. I just believe, and I believe there are success samples out there and examples out there, that it would cost less than our current hidden costs of the police and the river cleanup, and again, the lost river economic opportunities and human pain. I think if you move folks to an area, now, to me, and this isn't available, so I'm not saying go get this piece of property. What I'm saying is, to me, imagine the old drive-in movie theater that has a fenced area. It has a gateway that comes in. It has it's flat for camping. It would allow entrance there. It would allow social services to be on site. It would allow some rules. It would be more manageable from a policing perspective, I would think. It would be a lot more humane to rouse people from the river if they had a place to go there. So imagine something like that where folks are, and what we're trying to do, again, is not create an everlasting gobstopper of camp. What we're trying to do is move people through where they are right now to where we and they want them to be. Now, can you do it all? Heck no, I'm not stupid. I understand that the good intentions are sometimes not achievable, but I also understand that we should try. Okay, so that's that on that. I want to start and encourage community gardens. I am amazed and saddened by the amount of food insecurity our community and communities across the country and across the world face. And these aren't just the unhoused. These are our kids. These are our seniors. These are us. And so I really want to try and see if we can't do something like this. I want to open up city-owned property and city resources to volunteer gardeners. I firmly believe this. I firmly believe there are Trinidadians on the sideline that, with the right leadership and the right encouragement and facilitation, that are ready to engage in these problems and help solve them. That's what a community does. I'd also like to look at the idea of investing in a community greenhouse, some place that's consistently available to do this. That would be, and I look at this as modern day infrastructure. Now, I don't look at everything as infrastructure. Don't mean I don't mean to say I'm going there, But I mean, the world changed, and this is one of the things I need to do. I also believe, again, that when you start doing these things, you really learn more directly the scope of the problem, what the challenge really is, and you find out, is it a problem that can have a solution, or is it a dilemma that really is going to be very hard and has to be solved or resolved incrementally? So that's kind of it. Ways to contact me. My website is patfortrinidad.co, so patfortrinidad.co, not com, co for Colorado. Facebook page is Pat for Trinidad, but with the number 4. Okay, and I post these things there. I also post these on YouTube. These are really great ways to directly communicate with me. I've started to have some in-person listening sessions, and when I say listening sessions, I really would like for you to tell me what you think, and if you want me to answer or provide my input. I think you've known by now that I'm prepared to do that, and very eager and looking forward to that opportunity. And so right now, I think today is Wednesday, the 29th of September. I'll be at the Paradox from 5 to 5:30 tonight, if you want to come down there. Monday, and I really appreciate them for opening up. This is not an endorsement of me by them. This is just a good community business saying, hey, Pat, you can borrow our space. The same with, and that's Robbie over there, and Dave and that incredible crew, Jackie, and so the other is Los Animas Grill. I'll be there Monday, so that'll be next Monday at 9 a.m. for a cup of coffee, and that's Jay and his incredible crew over there. Again, it's not an endorsement. All it is a good local business saying, hey, Pat, you can have a cup of coffee in our space, and if you want to bring some folks or have them meet you there, you can. So I want to be clear of, I'm not dropping any names that haven't provided me with the permission to do that. There'll be maybe a couple more, and then certainly I'll be participating in the Chronicles question and answer opportunity, the candidate forum done by our chamber. Also, Murphy over at Channel 71, I'm sure he'll do something. And so I understand you may not know me. That's why I'm going through and doing this. But I do want to give you an opportunity to get to know me. And you know what? Any questions there? I'd be okay if candidates didn't get questions ahead of time, and we all had to speak from the heart and the gut and experience on the questions there. I'll participate in any way the format is, but I kind of prefer that over the other preparation, whatever. So enough said there. Enjoy your day. Make it a great day. And if you get a chance, go help somebody. Thanks.